Hi guys! Over the course of this week, we are going to be writing a paragraph. We are going to choose a topic within the given parameters, which we'll talk about, and we will brainstorm, draft, and write a complete paragraph that will be due on Friday. Be sure to use all that we've learned in class when you're writing this paragraph. So let's get started. Today, we have two things that we are going to do. We are going to begin by brainstorming all that you know about a trip that you have taken. This trip could be as simple as going to the store with your mom, or something bigger like a vacation to Guatemala. Be sure to include every detail you can think of about the trip. What did it look like? What did it feel like being there? What things did you see? Why did you go there? Who were you with? Use as many details as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and do an example. Let's see. I'm going to write about a trip to Apple Hill. Apple Hill is one of my favorite places to go in the fall. Now I'm going to list as many things as I can think about when I've gone to Apple Hill. So what did I do? I picked apples from the tree. I ate apple donuts. Oops, I don't know how to spell donuts. There we go. And pie. I drank apple cider. So good. I went with my children and my husband. If you'll notice, I'm not writing complete sentences right now. I'm just making a list of all the things I can remember about my trip to Apple Hill. Who was I with? What time of the year was it? Well, I always go in fall, usually in September. And if I can remember the exact date, that makes it even better. But I'm going to say in September. Let's see, what else could I remember? I remember driving around to the different farms and hopefully a few more items. But since I'm videoing, I am not going to take a long time making a giant list. Remember, if you choose a topic that you don't remember a lot about, it probably isn't something you should be writing about. You want to remember as many details as possible. Even if you were just going to Walmart or Safeway with your family, why were you going there? What were you going there to get? Who were you with? What kinds of things did you buy? Did anything special happen on the way in or on the way out? As many details as you can think of. Okay. Now, once you've come up with your list, you're going to move on to our main body sentences. Number one thing you have to remember on this section, guys, is that they have to stay on topic. So if I'm writing about Apple Hill, I probably shouldn't talk about my trip to the snow, unless I took a trip to the snow while I was in Apple Hill. Okay, so stay focused and stay on topic. These are the meat and potatoes of your thoughts. We're going to use the brainstorm that we just created, and we're going to choose 3 of those most important things that we did on the trip. They must be events. They are going to become the 3 details about your trip. We're then going to create a sentence for each of those. Then we're going to write an explanation sentence for each of those. So I'm going to go back to my list and I'm going to use the highlighting tool right here. I'm going to click highlight. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I'm going to do it just so I can show you how to use this tool. Click highlighting, and I'm going to pick 3 of these to focus on. So I'm going to focus on when I picked apples from the tree. I'm highlighting it. I'm going to go to the highlight color. I'm going to highlight in yellow. I'm also going to pick the 8 apple donuts and pies. I could go ahead and probably highlight the apple cider too. That's kind of like food. And I'm also going to highlight the driving around to the different farms. So those are going to be my three main things that I'm going to write about down here. So now what I need to do is I need to take my first one, which was picking apples from the tree, and I need to make that into a complete sentence. Oops, and I don't need it to be highlighted. Let me turn that off. The first thing we did when we went to Apple Hill was we picked apples off of the tree. Period. Okay, now I'm going to write an explanation of that. Give more details about pulling the apples from the tree. What other details can I think about when I was pulling the apples from the tree? One of the apples was very high up, and I had to help my son reach the apple so he could pick it. Period. So I have my detail. We picked apples, and I gave a little second explanation about how high that apple was, and I had to help somebody get that apple down. Now, my second event was eating the apple donut and eating the apple pie, and I threw in the drinking of the apple cider. I'm actually going to make those into two sentences. The first one will be about the apple pie and donut, and then I'll talk about how I drank the cider right here in the explanation. The next thing, or I'm going to start it. After we picked apples, my family and I went to eat some apple donuts and apple pie. We also had shared some fresh apple cider that was made at the farm, because I remember that was the detail of that farm. And even though I didn't write it up in the top area, that's okay. I remembered that detail while I was writing it, so I added it. So now I have, after we picked apples, my family and I went to eat some apple donuts and apple pie. We also shared some fresh apple cider that was made at the farm. I could even include another sentence if I wanted to and say, it was delicious. All right, so my third event. What was my third event? Oh, my third event was driving around to the different farms. Okay, so event 3. We drove to many farms in the Apple Hill area. And now I'm gonna write another clarifying sentence. Our favorite farms are High Hill Ranch, and I'm remembering some of the names of them, Kids Inc., and the last one is Abel's Acres. And if you don't remember the name of everything, you can take an educated guess, or you can research and find it. So now I'm done. I have my body paragraphs completed. I have 3 main details. Detail 1, we went to Apple Hill to pick apples off the tree. After we picked the apples, we had apple donuts and apple pie. And we drove to many farms in the Apple Hill area. I want to try and keep these in chronological order or time order. And I think I did a pretty good job of that because that was the first thing that we did. Then we went to apples, or we ate apples, and then we drove around to many different farms. So that is our paragraph for right now. On Wednesday, we're going to take that and we're going to work on adding a topic sentence and a closing sentence. Stay tuned. Bye.